who's gonna show up at your show? I mean, there's usually like 2 people at your show anyway, so like it's probably the safest place to be if you want to be COVID free. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell. Today I'm gonna talk about something a little bit different. This is brand new news, and maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't. Ticketmaster is currently in the news. Just a couple of days ago, Pfizer made an announcement that they will be making a vaccine that will be available. So mind you, a lot of places are now gearing up to go back to regular business. Now, Ticketmaster is currently in the news because they are thinking about how they can get back to business, right? So I'm not gonna talk too much about Ticketmaster yet, but it's very interesting to see what they want to do with it. As you all know, Ticketmaster is a service that provides tickets to events. Now, up until this point, they have basically dominated the field. They have been successful. And what basically they want to do is incorporate in some way how they can check the status of your COVID while purchasing tickets, because we are starting to see that now there's a vaccine. You know, we might think, oh, things are going back to normal, and hopefully they are, but it doesn't defeat the overshadowing effect of possibility of a resurgence of this illness, right? So what are the things that Ticketmaster are going to be doing to prevent or possibly reopen? We know that this ticketing company wants to incorporate testing for COVID into purchasing tickets now. So what they are planning to do is to somehow, whether built into their own app or go through another app, or somehow combine somebody else's application with their own service, perhaps a medical company, and have you actually go and get tested 24 hours to 72 hours from actually going to the event. Now, I think that poses some problems for a lot of people. Mainly, I mean, where do I even start with it? First of all, it's going to be an added cost to Ticketmaster, and we already know that they charge some crazy made up convenience fee for ticket deliveries and whatever the hell they charge for, and you don't even, you know, it kind of feels like a ripoff sometimes. You know, you're spending money, then you check out, and then all of a sudden you're spending more money. Like it's but anyway, so now you're gonna have to have a COVID test done. Who knows, they might even require you to show that you've been vaccinated the preceding days before you go to the show. Now, okay, let's say you go and you get tested and you're negative, but it takes time for your body to actually show the illness. It can take up to 2 weeks before you can even truly show that you have COVID in your system. You could go and get tested and you could show positive after being exposed a couple days ago, or you could go and show that you've tested negative even though you've been exposed to it, and you will be positive. So that doesn't necessarily sound super safe, and I think that might be kind of weird. I mean, it could still put a lot of people at risk, right? That doesn't sound like it's an option that is viable and safe for the public, for the people attending the events. I think Ticketmaster is preparing themselves to make some money, and I think Ticketmaster is preparing themselves to resume business. And also, I mean, think about it. I think it's a good thing to see this stuff being talked about, only because like a lot of musicians that want to go back to work, I think they want to see these kind of things in the news, right? A lot of musicians are currently not performing, and performing live there's simply not the market for that. People go to see live events. People go to see somebody perform. They go to see the sweat, the instruments, the vibe, the drinks, the atmosphere, the smoke, pure event of it all. So, and you know, I can assure you that a lot of musicians just won't need Ticketmaster, right? You could just, you know, like, who's gonna show up at your show? I mean, there's usually like 2 people at your show anyway, so like it's probably the safest place to be if you want to be COVID free. Come to my show, right? There's like one other person, you know, 50 people have already told me they're coming, but when it comes down to it, you got 2 people, you got 1 person, sometimes you get nobody. So I would say music events are the safest place to be if you want to be in a COVID free zone. So another thing that they're trying to eliminate is skin to skin contact or close quarters. So what they want to do is they want to eliminate paper tickets. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I've kept some of my paper tickets in the past as a memento. You know, it's kind of a change change in the society that we are gonna see. Now we're not gonna see paper tickets. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about that? Like, would you miss paper tickets? Are you know, would you be okay with going to a show and knowing that, okay, you got tested negative 26 hours ago, right? And then there's maybe 10,000 people who all got their tests done. I mean, how effective are these tests and how secure is the result, knowing that you could still have the illness but show no symptoms and show negative in your blood work? And so, like I said, more than likely, we know that Ticketmaster is looking at options of how to integrate the COVID tests into selling their own tickets for events. So, you know, they might just choose to go and build it up, or more than likely what they will be doing is they will be simply working with another company that does testing or has a already built-in infrastructure / application where they can simply refer you to go to wherever your testing site is, and you go and you get your blood drawn, they test you, or they do a quick swab, and then they simply input your information into this data. What I think is a concern for a lot of people is that's going to be an increase in the actual price. Those tests are not free, and Ticketmaster won't pay for it. So obviously the consumer will have to foot that bill, and I don't think Ticketmaster would care, because that's not their problem. That's our problem. We want to go, we want to purchase the ticket. So it suddenly exponentially raises the ticket for some events. For some events it might not raise it as much. I simply don't think that it is a good route. We have to figure something out, and I think it's good to see that Ticketmaster is now in the news about this, because obviously the vaccine was just announced, and more than likely they'll be delivering 1.3 billion doses within the next several months. So that's an extreme amount of quantity, right? 1.3 billion in a year is a considerable amount. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, please ring that bell, leave a comment below if I missed something talking about Ticketmaster. As always, check out my channel. I have more content. I have some music videos. Hopefully we can all see each other again